Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to the studio. This is Dr. Nicole Bossard. I am here back in the studio, spending some time with the wonderful people of the Practicing Positivity clan. I am so delighted to be back with you all. I almost let shame, regret, and guilt, nail the door shut on the studio. But thank goodness there's always good music and some good positivity. And there are always good people that God, the universe, however you consider it, sends your way just when you need them. So I am here just delighted to be with you all. So now I've shared with you who I am. Remember, this is what we're about and who we are here at Practicing Positivity in the studio. Check the bottom of your screen here. This is a shared learning lab for all of us to discover, to uncover, and as I like to say, to put our head, heart, and hands back around those things that give us life, those things that give us energy, those things that stir up and incite in us our best self and our highest ideals and aspirations and the good stuff. So that's what we do here. And remember what life stands for here in Practicing Positivity in the studio. Life stands for love, inspiration, faith, and freedom for an extraordinary, exceptional experience called life. And the life that you, yes, desire, the life absolutely that you deserve, and the life that you get to, that I get to, that we get to design. No matter what else is happening out there, we've got the pottery in our hands. We've got our foot on the turn of that pottery wheel, and we can create some magnificent, wonderful experiences with this life that we have. Masterpieces, dare I say. So that's what we do here. I just wanted to pop in just shortly. Remember back in January when we started this year, I said this year I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I'd been talking about practicing positivity and why I love practicing positivity, but I hadn't actually invited you to consider with me why you would do that. Why bother with positivity? Because we spend a lot of time in our culture. I'm here in the United States, but we spend a lot of time here in the States talking about the negativity, that negative bias, always being prepared for the onslaught of what could, might, maybe, and in some cases does, the inevitable does happen. But here's what I want to share and what I want us to spend this year and where I want to grow myself this year in understanding not just there's a practice of positivity because, and I feel compelled to dive into this with you in a whole new level this year, because positivity is not the end destination in and of itself. It's the roadways, it's the channel, it's the access point. So positivity, it's not about just being positive for positive sake. Positivity does some things for us. It expands us, it fortifies us, and it allows us to be fully and completely present in a way so that we can manage, handle, address, bounce up, bounce back, jump to the left, jump to the right. It allows us to be nimble in life, no matter what's going on. And that's important for our brain, that fight, flight, freeze, what we are designed to do. We're wired to watch out for what could happen that could kill us, no doubt about it. But we're also, that evolutionary brain kicks off that process of fight, flight, freeze, not just when we're in a life or death situation, when our spouse looks at us crooked, when we have to wait too long in the Starbucks line, or when, by God, we have been offended, when we have been assaulted, right? We all have my point is, whether it's a real live assault an issue, or whether it's I don't like how she looking at me, our body can kick us into the same level of response. And if we can put our hands back around that practice of positivity, it will allow us to respond with the fullness of who we are, not just from our fight, flight, freeze brain, but with the full expanse of creativity at our disposal by virtue of being one of the humans. The humans got some good stuff going on. So here's what I want to do today in just a little bit. So I want to bring some slides up here, and I think I got this right. So I want to bring these slides up, and let me start at the beginning. So I'm going to switch this out real quick so you can see it. And I'd love to see you. So as you're listening, pop into the chat, pop into the comment field and give me some feedback. Let me know if this is resonating with you as we're talking about a practice of positivity to help us not just ground and put an anchor in a sometimes crazy world or circumstance or situation, but we're going to hopefully create a practice of positivity so that we're able to generate the kind of presence and the kind of energy that can help us shape and become exactly who it is and how it is that we want to be, and not simply be defined by the condition, but that we become defined by our intention. So look, practicing positivity, the 411. So the 411, for those of you that are of a certain age, you're going to catch the reference. Mary J. Blige, thank you very much. So the 411, here's what we mean, right? So, and I'm talking about practicing and positivity. So to practice, it means, let's get down to brass tacks here. So committed interest, engagement, attention, and repetition with the intent of progressive movement, right? And now here's the beautiful thing that I want to just highlight about the whole notion of practicing. It means whatever is the focus of my practice, I can grow it, I can strengthen it, I can improve it. That applies to positivity just like it applies to guitar, just like it applies to learning Spanish, just like it applies to, speaking. That thing that which you practice, you can grow it. Now let's shift over a little bit to positivity. What does it represent? It's a state of being, not a passing feeling. It's a state of being. It's a conscious choice of focus or intention or expression. So as I put here at the bottom of this slide, what it says right here, I can choose. I can choose. I'm not defined by the circumstance or condition. I'm defined by my choice. I'm defined by my choice. Now, let's get into the mix of this whole positivity thing. So positivity, what it consists of in the way that I want to start off with us here around positivity is it consists of a certain jumble of emotions. So appreciation, joy, gratitude, love, curiosity. Please, when you get to this, go into the chat. Put into the chat when you see the slide, what's on your top list when you think of positivity and positive emotions that give you that surge of good energy, that surge of, okay, I can handle this, that surge of clarity even, or warmth. What's on your list? This is my starter list. Serenity, inspiration. Now, here's what I want to say about positivity before we go any further. It expands and builds us up. It expands our ability to see more in the moment than just the thing that is coming at us. It allows us to keep our awareness broad and wide enough so that we can also see not just the crisis in the moment or in that particular condition or experience, but we can also see the opportunities. And it builds us up. It allows us then to see and pull in different tools, different resources, things that we can build with, we can build on, and things that can fortify us. Okay. So let me know in the comments as you are in the chat, as you are hearing this, what are those elements of positivity, those experiences, those emotions, those positive emotions that you've experienced where it's helped you broaden and build. It's helped you expand and build. And this is coming out of the research of Dr. Barbara Fredrickson, who has spent the last 20 plus years exploring the power of positivity. Now, here's the potency of it. This quote is from Dr. Barbara Fredrickson, and I'm not sure why the whole quote isn't showing, but it says simply this: with positivity, you see new possibilities, bounce back from setbacks, connect with others. When we're not in fight, flight, freeze mode, it's much easier for us to reach out hand to hand, heart to heart, and connect authentically, human connection here, and become the best version of ourselves that we can be. That's from Dr. Barbara Fredrickson and her book, Positivity. I'll include that in the notes. But that's the potency of positivity, is right there. With positivity, it allows us to see new possibilities. Why? Because we haven't gone into that. Negativity spurs off a whole cascade of that biochemical cocktail, that cortisol, adrenaline. Why? We got to focus in on exactly what the attack is and how we're going to survive. I ain't got time to be thinking about all these other people. I ain't got time to be connecting with nobody because I got to get through this thing, right? Positivity allows us to keep the waters back, so that we can continue to have some latitude and some movement in the moment of stress, and also just in the moment of life. Now, I want to add something on here as we're thinking about the practice of positivity. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this lately. So as I've been thinking about positivity, I started looking at what are those elements that kind of really spur on that sense of positivity, those positive emotions. So a fire starter for positivity that I've discovered it for me is a sense of purpose. So here's some basic, these are Webster's definition, or Google's definition actually, for purpose: the noun, the reason for which something is done or created, or for which something exists. Or for which something exists. Have you ever heard yourself or heard someone else say, I was built for this? I was made for this. I was made to do this. This is my time for this. All of my life has prepared me for this moment. And then here's the verb: having one's intention or objective. So some might say, hey, it was purposed for me to do this. This was purposed for me to do this, right? And for me, when I anchor into and I can connect to that higher sense of purpose, it allows me, it just kind of buoys me outside of my fear, my doubt. That's what got me back in the studio after taking a couple of hard knocks and having a couple of folks say some pretty harsh things about the work that I do. It gave me I had to remember my purpose. I had to remember this is what I was made for. I was made to bring this message of positivity. It's the reason that I exist. All of my gifts and talents have prepared me for this. So the job is to grow forward. That's the job. Okay. So as you're thinking about your sense of, when you think about positivity, I want you to try and say, as an igniter for your positivity, think about your purpose. So here's a quest that I have for you. So as we're heading into this next week, and in a couple of weeks that I'm going to be putting together some other pieces for you, here's something that I'd like you to ponder prodigiously. As one of my first mentors used to say, ponder prodigiously. What is the purpose that drives me? What's the purpose that drives you? I want you to be reading this in first person. What is the purpose that drives me? What's consciously what's the front window, the kind of the window in the shopping, at the shopping mall, that front display window that I like to let everybody see that one. What's that conscious purpose that I like to share with everybody? Oh, I like to help people. Oh, I like to make a difference. Oh, I love to inspire and motivate people. And then I want you to take a second and reflect on what's that unconscious purpose? That thing that's kind of driving you. And before you know it, you're just kind of into it. You don't even really catch it. The one that you only dare tell yourself, what I'm really here to do is to help people to connect, make contact, have an intimate encounter with the divine power and potential of the entire universe. In my belief system, that's God Olodumare, that's God Olofi, the Orisha. That's having personal contact with the divine power and potential that's already embedded and encoded deep inside of each and every one of us. For what purpose? For me, so that I believe, as Lisa Nichols says, I know, like I know, like I know, like I know. That's where our power is, not just individually and collectively. That's where the genius that can help us reverse climate change. It's when we make contact with that divine creative force within. That's where we can see whole nations being turned upside down because of the result of climate change incidents that are happening, climate events that we hadn't even dreamed of when I was a child. That's how we can creatively and innovatively come up with new solutions. It's in the divine contact. That's the one that I dare not tell most people. I like to help people. I like to have people, feel good about themselves, appreciate what's going on, appreciate their skills, talents, strengths, and abilities. People like hearing that. But what I'm really trying to do is to say, oh my God, how do we wake that giant that's in you, that giant of power, that giant, that lowercase g God that's sitting in you? How do we stir and wake up that giant in you? That's really what I'm here to do. But I want you to answer that question for yourself. What's the front office version that you like to share about your purpose? What's that unconscious version that is guiding and that is informing, influencing, that is cutting a pathway before you even know it for everything that you do? That's the golden thread that connects all of the experiences and choices, the post-traumatic stress that you've experienced, the post-traumatic trauma, you've experienced, but also it's fueled the post-traumatic growth that you're creating. What's that unconscious thing? That is the fire that is you. Spend some time thinking about it. If you're with me, spend some time thinking about it. And if you're feeling courageous, and please know, you don't have to be perfect. You can feel courageous and in your imperfection still be a gift to somebody. Post it in the chat, share it. Let somebody be encouraged to know, hey, yes, somebody else has some quirky thing going on that they're working on in life too. Let's encourage each other together. Now, here's the second part of this question I want you to ponder prodigiously. Beyond what your purpose is, I want you to think about, what does it do in and for you? What does it do in and for you? Purpose is dynamic in my world. What does that purpose do in and for you? And what does it have you do for those folks around you? So that's the bonus round. You see, that's the bonus round, What does your purpose in you, what does it have you do for the people around you? So let's take that purpose somewhere, so that purpose, then I want you to see. I was just in a conversation with someone yesterday. The power of purpose is not just simply knowing it for yourself. She and I got in this beautiful conversation. Jana Jorgensen, who's over on the West Coast in British Columbia, got in this beautiful conversation about some work that she has birthed and brought into the world. And we started talking about the power of purpose, but the power of purpose is severely limited if we keep it just in this nice little box and it's only for us. No, I said, we got this. Purpose gets its wings when we swing out. What's the purpose for? What is it for? Who is it for? What does it have us do in the world beyond just making me feel fulfilled because I have a purpose, making me feel somehow satisfied because I've identified some words that I can go along with these feelings? What does it do in me? Yes, I want you to have that information, but I also want you to have this information. What does that purpose alive in me make possible in the world? Because then it's not a big leap to say, if I'm not stirring that pot, if I'm not letting that purpose do its full work in the world, something's missing. So when people say you can impact the world, you surely can, and you surely do. But where we can get some real power inside of that impact is when you notice, when you put some attention, when you put some intention, and then you sprinkle deliberately some action all over and around that thing. So that's what I'm hoping that's what I would love for you to take on as we are taking this journey. Take a couple of weeks, and look at those questions. Let those questions take you on a journey somewhere. Take you on a journey to not only to a greater sense of purpose, but to ignite that positivity that allows you to have then a full expanse, a full latitude. You have some real room to move, to say, now, because my purpose is alive in me, this is what is now available in the world. And then we can start talking about, so what are we going to do about it? Okay. All right. I won't get into it. But it is a delight to be back in the studio with you all. I am so grateful. I hope on this, it's Friday here in the United States. Friday, February the 10th is when we are broadcasting this. So take some time, get your notebook, listen, kind of rewind a little bit if you need to get those questions down. I actually put them on the slide so you won't miss a beat. And I look forward to us coming back together into the studio. And I look forward to you taking this studio out into your world and living with what gets churned up and turned up. And I hope your love light, your positivity light gets turned up loud, proud, bright like the sun. I'll look forward to seeing you there. Let's get out. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Hey, be brave. Post up in the chat, encourage somebody. And like we always say, if this is something, this little positivity shot is something that someone can use, please share it. Don't forget, please like and subscribe. It will help the channel and it will continue to spread some love and positivity in the interwebs. All right. I'll see you soon. Stay well and stay great.